Okay. Hello. I am so excited to be here with you all for today's Soulcast and Energy Report. Welcome, Donnell, and I am a channel and an oracle and multidimensional healer and a mentor. And I am just excited to tune in for June. I do this every month. I have it time stamped on my YouTube channel if you kind of want to shortcut through it. I was just kind of, first of all, I can't believe it's June. I say this almost every month. I'm like, where's the time going? But it's like, oh, we're kind of getting to that halfway point in the year. And I don't know about you, but May was probably one of the most transformative months that I've experienced in years. And on a deep, deep level. And it started with the Scorpio new moon, which was on Cinco de Mayo. And that was an eclipse. And, when we have eclipses, they last for 6 months. And it was altering, life altering. And with any big changes, as I go through this report today, any big changes that happen in your reality, it takes time to integrate. It really takes time. So I hope that wherever you are in your journey, if you have experienced, these last few months of this year is a year of lots of healing and transformation. And when you go through big breakthroughs or breakdowns, however you want to see it, it's really important that you let it kind of settle, let the dust settle so that it doesn't just become another thing. It's like you actually get the medicine that the universe source is trying to provide for you. So yeah, I will say more in a little bit, but it was, I noticed, I went back in my notes and I saw that in May, I had pulled the world card. And boy, oh boy, and that was the theme for the month. And I don't know about you, but when you get the world card, it's kind of like you're coming to the end of a journey and you can't go further without trying to wrap up some really big lessons. And for when it comes to eclipse and shadowy materials that are going to come up to the surface, that's what was happening in that, on Cinco de Mayo. And then so whatever's been revealed to you, whatever's been shown to you, understand that it's part of a grander matrix of a plan to get you to be the best version of yourself. Like that's something I want to invite you into is I really feel that with everything that's happening on the planet right now, it's so that we can be better individually and collectively. So without further ado, I am going to get started. I'm going to see what the card is going to be for June. And we're stepping into June with, we have a full moon in Sagittarius this weekend. So this, we're already starting off kind of with like some fun, and Sagittarius is big and expansive, and it's almost that energy of go big or go home. And it's Jupiter ruled. And so yeah, take lots of self-care this week. So first, let me start though with the overall card for June, and I'll tell you what we got going on here. And if you're joining me live, say hi. I'd love to hear where you're joining from and say hello. Oh my gosh. I love this card, the light card. So the light, the sun card, and the traditional tarot. And this card feels like a return to innocence. There is a curiosity and wonder that comes with being a child. And anytime you see a kid that is, maybe up until 5 or 6 years old, even 7, they have this like sweet, almost, well, hopefully naivete about life. And they're excited about what the next thing is and how they're going to go about things. They're not overly, You don't like come into it with a prejudice or a belief already. So the first thing I'm hearing for June for everybody collectively is that we are resetting. You have to reset your energy. You have to come into yourself. And it's a opportunity to look at everything that's been happening for you, not to you, for you, and imagining that you get to look at everything with this like playful energy, this curiosity and wonder, and having fun. Like if you've been feeling that things have been heavy, how can you balance what's been going on with lots of joy and this feeling of expansion and coming back to the things that make you really happy? Because I know that whenever I go through something that's really challenging, the thing that shifts everything for me is when I go have fun. When I'm like, okay, what are the things that bring me joy and the experiences and the people that lighten me up and get us out of that serious energy and into feeling really good. And so I want you to think about this card as finding your joy, finding the fun, coming back to this place of neutrality, so that whatever you're experiencing, there can be some lightness to it. Because there does feel like every month, there's just been a lot of stuff happening in the collective. I mean, we can't deny that. There's just been so much going on. And as things continue to unfold and shift and realign, there's the gift of being able to resource your own reality. And that means that you have to come into agency within yourself of what brings you the happiness, what you need to do internally to cultivate joy and happiness and fun and the lightness within your life. Like not waiting for something outside of you to bring you that energy, really understanding that if you don't wake up happy, that's okay, but take some time to recalibrate and find your happy, find the joy, find the things that light you up and make you feel really good inside. I also am feeling for this card, this sense of prioritizing your needs so that you can deal with what's happening outside of you. Lots of self-care and lots of being able to verbalize and express your needs. We are in Gemini. I mean, we're in this Gemini energy. And so being able to communicate and drop into your heart, not just coming from your mental capacities, really being able to drop into your heart. And yes, sometimes we have to use logic and linear thinking, but really, what is the territory of your heart that brings you the joy and the expansion and excitement that will really feel good this month? So I love this because this is it's just a beautiful card of things working out, things feeling good, things happening, things being, bringing joy. And with Sagittarius full moon, there's definitely a sense of that, kind of Sagittarius likes to go overboard. I'm a Sagittarius. I think four planets in, Sagittarius house. And so, it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm Sagittarius sun and, moon and North Node. And it's a big energy. And I know for myself, I've always had to learn how to temper, like how to trust the timing of things. Sagittarius is a big dose of faith and optimism. And it really works beautifully with that sun card, the light card of what is that, what are the foundations of our life that bring us, because the sun is masculine, right? The sun is a masculine energy. It's yang. So what brings us the structures of our life that allow us to have the joy and the pleasure that we want? So yeah, let's see what this first few days are going to be for us in June with this full moon. Let's see. Root chakra. So I love this because there's this energy of getting grounded. What do you need to do? This root chakra has everything to do with your physical reality, your 3D manifestations, your family, your ancestry. And Sagittarius has to do with higher education and our philosophy and religion and astrology and all these kinds of things. And so when you think about what grounds you in this reality, what brings you faith and optimism, do you have enough of that in your life? Are you using the tools that you have? Do you have a practice that helps you tap into your faith and your ability? I mean, to me, faith has to do with a grander vision for life, like who we get to be. It's all about the futuring stuff that I teach. And if you're not thinking about who you get to become, not on a basis where it's like yet another thing, but just kind of having fun with it, about what is my next thing? What is my next level of expansion, of growth? Because we're not here to stagnate. So this card feels really like take care of your body, because there is going to be some excess energy, probably with the full moon. Making sure that your environment is in order, making sure that, especially after what transpired in May. I know for me personally, it was some endings and new beginnings. I mean, I guess I could say it. I let go of a part of myself that was no longer, or actually I would say more, I awakened to myself, to a new part of myself. And I also had some movement in some friendships and things that was kind of overdue and necessary on a cosmic level. And when there's big shifts, like what I'm describing, grounding in and making sure after the changes, asking yourself the deeper questions of what is going to be the fuel in my life for me to feel really good and have pleasure and joy amidst whatever's happening. And so if your environment doesn't feel like it's up to par, if your finances don't feel up to par, if you're who you're surrounding yourself with, take some time through this weekend, take some time to get some clarity and to get in your body and take really good, get out in nature, and really get things in order. That's kind of what Spirit's saying to me. Get things in order in your reality to help you out. So I love that. And what are the practices? What are the practices that always bring you home to yourself? I hope you know what those are. For me, it's meditation and exercise. And when I do that on a daily basis, I come back into me. I come back into my connection to source. And as Sagittarius rules the house of, that spirituality and faith and all the things, higher education, what might you need a dose of in your life right now? And, the full moons are completions. They're a culmination of something. So if you look back at the end of November, December, and think about what at the new moon you were really excited about, what were you thinking about? What were your goals and aspirations at that time? And how have they come to fruition? What might you need to course correct? What is being shown and illuminated to you? And it's really fun. By the way, I have an incredible offer that I'm so excited about, that if you want to travel with me for the next year through the new moons, but do it in a totally different, disruptive way than everybody else is doing it. Because if you know me, I'm very unconventional. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I started doing new moon workshops years ago. And then all of a sudden everybody, got on the bandwagon and started doing them as well. And I'm not saying I started it, but it became a thing. So of course I have to do it differently than everybody else. And so I'm adding a futuring component and a hypnosis component where you're really getting an opportunity to tune into your higher self and ask the right questions that supercharge the energetics, because each new moon, it's, in a specific sign, but it's also in a specific house for you on your chart. So I'm going to teach you how to get really specific with what you're working on. And when you set those intentions at the new moon, you get to see 6 months how they come, 6 months at the full moon, how they come into fruition. And when you're doing it from a futuring aspect, new moons are for futuring, really. They're for setting intentions. But when you know how to have a coherent frequency, with your thoughts and your feelings, it's really, think of it as a time. It's like a date you're going to have every month, not only with a community of amazing women who are futuring, but with yourself, your higher self, and really getting to set intentions from your soul, because your soul is always guiding and directing you to your highest. So if you want to know more about that, I will put the link. But it's my Futuring New Moon membership. So when you join, it's for a year and it's $333. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, moving forward. So we're going to look and start with the energy of June 5th. So we're going to start on that Monday. I don't know why, but I start weeks like that. So let's see. Oh, we get the third eye. So let me kind of tune into this and see. Well, what's so wild to me is how thin the veil has already been. And when we get cards like this, it's just another confirmation that when you come into your body and you listen and have a practice, then you get to see the directives that are being generated by your spirit, soul, however you want to call it, source, not just the egoic desires. And so this week of the 5th feels like there's going to be such an incredible opportunity to tap into the higher desire that is being directed by soul, and to do a little bit of course correction. And also, this is a card about the revelations that we get. So maybe in the collective, there's going to be more revelations about different things that are occurring. And, there's always things going on, but we seem to be kind of being debriefed in some ways. I feel like in the collective, there's a lot of debriefing and there's a lot of like things coming out that are just fascinating, right? I'm not going to get into that, but this energy, the vision I'm seeing is that not only are you going to have strong intuitive insights, but you're going to use it to direct your reality in a new way. Because I see the third eye and the throat chakra being very connected. And it's interesting because it's almost like the information drops in and then you're leading with it. You're not just letting the insight percolate and maybe one day take inspired action on it. What this actually feels like is that you get the divine directive and then it kind of drops into your throat, and it's, how can I express this in my reality? How can I make sense of what's coming through for me? So for some of you, it may feel like you're getting lightning hits of information. And what do you do with it? Well, first of all, make sure that you're writing it down, putting it somewhere. Your dreams may be very active, because this is when we get the third eye, there's communication happening, and it's not just, it's the sixth sense kind of communication, and you get to hopefully how you receive that kind of information. And when you get these kind of bolts of lightning information, what do you do with it? And once you commit it to paper, once you kind of let it be shown to you, and ask, what do I need to do with this? For some of you, it's going to be giving you your next idea or plan. And I feel like this is a week to really strengthen this ability for you. And to, so many people are looking for proof of, I work with a lot of women who are so highly intuitive, but they don't always trust it. So this is a week to really build the trust muscle and to get it moving in the right direction. Think of it as being really embodied in the information that comes through, and then being able to take action on it, being able to create your reality from the intuitive insights that you receive. And one of my mentors said to me yesterday, this really beautiful, actually, I'm going to see if I can find the question that she said. It was something along the lines, I am ready to become the best version of myself. What is that going to take? What does that look like? I love that question. It reminds me of divine will, not trying to force our agendas in our reality, having an idea of what you'd like to have happen, but really being in this space of openness to what can happen in your life. And so when you ask, how can I be my best self? When you speak to that higher consciousness aspect of you that animates your entire reality, and say something along the lines of, how can I be deeply connected and understand the language of my soul? When you ask, maybe that's too serious of a question, but show me what's my next step, higher self. And that's why I'm doing these kind of new moons. That's why I do everything in my coaching mentorship, where you're really able to communicate with your higher self, because your higher self is the part of you that's the elder that's already gone through this. When you have a desire, there is already a version of you in another timeline experiencing that. And the thing is to learn how to bring that into your reality right now. That's what I teach people in my Majestic Mastermind, which is open as well right now for enrollment. So when you learn how to do that and trust the intuitive insights, your life starts to change rapidly, because you're not living from this logical linear way. You get an intuitive insight, you trust it, you act on it, and then life starts to move very, very quickly. The problem is most people don't trust it. So this is a week to get really aligned with that, practice it, let the intuitive insights come in and start taking action, because spirit is guiding you to build your life, to shift things and go in way new directions. And it's coming through your intuition, because it's not something you've done before yet. You don't know this part of yourself or this new way of being. So instead of getting something from your logical linear mind of some direction, it's going to come from your higher self. So listen to it. Okay. Listen to it and respond appropriately. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the 12th and see what we got. My God, these cards are hilarious, because this is the High Priestess. So this is, and by the way, if you're a man that's listening to this doesn't mean that it's only applicable for women. The High Priestess is somebody that knows how to have a deep connection with their consciousness, their intuition, and source. So if anybody can step into a role of a priestess in that sense, right? And this is, you are in relationship to the universe. So you are just continuing on. So if the card for the month is that beautiful sun card, and the sun is masculine in a sense, think about life penetrating your being. The masculine is the spark of life, right? It's kind of this, it's what I was saying earlier, like these intuitive, like hits of lightning that come in, and the feminine receives, that part of you that's the feminine receives the information. So this is a week where you are in relationship to that part of you. And that doesn't mean that you aren't always in relationship to it, but that it's easier to access. And there's some initiatory things that may happen. There is some internal dialogue I'm hearing, where you may be feeling a little bit, there may be some chaos around you, and the chaos is only there to initiate you into higher states of consciousness. This is a card where you can understand and see things deeply, and you are not in fear, because you understand how beautifully supported you are in every aspect of your life. So this card, and in this, we have a new moon in Gemini on the 17th, and there's a Saturn goes back into retrograde, or Saturn goes retrograde. Saturn's the taskmaster, Saturn's there to teach us to be responsible and some lessons and all that kind of stuff. But with this High Priestess card, your gift is the stillness. Your gift is the quietude of your soul, to go within and be in dialogue with your higher self, and understanding that whatever may be going on around you, if something feels chaotic or it feels like there's questions about, how things are shifting and changing, because there's a lot of beginnings, there's a lot of, it's interesting because it still feels like we're in this cyclical process, as we always are, with death, rebirth, and there feels like there's a lot being born, there's a lot of new beginnings. And when that happens, we are walking tenderly forward because we don't quite know what we're moving into. And this is the week of like, see beyond, like you got the third eye the week before, but see beyond the veil and have a practice within yourself where you can really feel resourced. And I'm hearing that not everything's going to be obvious. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. And can you, excuse me, trust your inner resources within yourself to see beyond the veil? So it feels like for some of you, this is going to be an activation. It feels like there's higher consciousness streaming deep codes of light into your being. Like there is a opportunity for some ecstatic energy, which is really interesting to me, but it's just this seeing things from the higher plane, understanding things on a deeper level, and feeling like everything's moving in the right direction because you're in the deepest states of trust and surrender. You are a creatrix of your reality and you're creating it. And although not everything may be tangible and you could see it and understand every single piece of it, you realize that you can bring the formless into form through your faith and optimism, through your belief. And then as the Gemini new moon comes in, being able to plant the seeds for those new beginnings. And it's the beginnings that are through your spirit, through your consciousness, not just through your logical linear mind. Imagine how powerful you are when you allow yourself to be fully, deeply connected into your physical vessel, and you make and create your reality through that embodiment, through embodiment of your consciousness, because you understand that there is so much more than meets the eye. We're not just these physical beings that are just having this physical experience. There's so much potentials and possibilities in the quantum field. And so of what your life can be when you start to access the language of your soul. Okay. So let me go to the 19th. Feels like a very mystical month in some ways so far. Mystical and fun. So we have this summer solstice on the 21st. So on the 19th, the card, accelerated motion. So things are going to pick up. But you know what's funny is this card is still in the spiritual realms. So it's a power card, which I love. Like you're going to feel powerful and abundant spiritually. So what fills you up in those ways, if you've been following the path and following the light card, the sun card of the month, and you've really been tuning in and integrating these new beginnings and seeing, where you need to go, then this is going to feel like, oh, I get to take off. I get to go. There's motion. And this to me, like as soon as I feel this card, it's very much the solar plexus. It's very much, how can I take some action on these dreams, these ideas, and these potentialities that I have in my mind, in my heart. They're saying, have your eye on the prize this week. Don't let your faith falter. Stay really grounded in your truth, understanding that everything is unfolding for your best and highest good. and that you can't, it's still this feeling of you can't see everything yet. And yet there's signposts that are saying you're on the right path. And I get this vision of a detour. There's something that they're saying around a detour that you may feel like you're on your path, and then they're like, there's a detour, and it's like, okay, you have to go this way. And you may think it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's actually a shortcut. It's actually the very thing that needs to happen to shortcut the entire process, whatever that means for you. So don't be caught up on linear time right now, in this week, because things are actually moving very quickly, and things are shifting in the quantum field based on the work you've been doing the couple weeks before, in order for things to move in the direction that you desire. I don't know. This card feels really good because look, I mean, she's looking up at the North Star. She's like really clear of what direction she wants to go in. And she's not paying attention to us, right? She's looking up at that. And that's where you need to be in that week of the 19th. Where am I going? Where am I heading? I'm not looking backwards at the past. I'm not worried about who I used to be or what I used to do. I'm focusing on where I'm heading, and I'm on this path, and I'm trusting the path forward, and nothing or no one is going to take me off that path because it's already done. This is the thing. If you could have this certainty within your being of things already being done, life would be it would be different, right? Instead, most people question, is it going to happen? Is this going to work out this way? I love when my clients in the past used to ask me this question: do you think this is going to happen for me? I used to kind of go from, when I was doing like pure psychic work, I'd be like, well, let me look at the energetics and da-da-da. And now in my mentorship, as I've really worked on, helping empower my clients to be the most embodied version of themselves, I'm like, do you think it's going to happen? Are you behind what you can do? Can you feel the energetics? Are you willing to do what it takes and have the faith and trust to move forward on your path and make this thing happen? Because so many people are waiting for something outside of themselves to validate, even sometimes saying like, I'm looking for a sign. Like, I love looking for signs, but like, do you really need a sign if you're 100% on board with what you're doing? And if you trust your path and you trust that you're always being guided in the highest way possible, do you really need somebody outside of you to tell you? Sometimes we do need that validation. Sometimes we do need that support. But I'm just questioning, like, I want you to feel the certainty in your being that if you want something, it wants you too. And I'm not talking about another human being. Yeah. If you want a relationship, you better become the vibrational match. But that's the whole name of the game. Become the identity of the version of you that already has the thing that you want. Don't be waiting and looking outside of yourself for somebody to give you the very thing that you need to give to yourself first and foremost. Okay. That's what this week feels like. That's the pep talk for this week of the 19th. And last but not least, the 26th. Let's see what's going on. So that week, let's see, is there anything? Neptune goes in retrograde on the 30th, and there's a Mercury Cazimi. Ooh, good times. No big thing. Okay. Movement, choices, and decision. So finally, we get a very like 3D reality card. I mean, we got the root chakra for the first week, but this card is one where you're also in relationship to something. So a specific part of your life, a specific aspect, and you're going to be asked to move forward and to make decisions, to not deliberate, to not take too long, to not sit on something and wait. This is a card of figure it out. What decision or action do you need to take to get to where you want to go? So you'll know whichever part of your life this is, that it's time to move. It's time to move. Maybe you got some spiritual insights earlier in the month. And if you see as a full story, you got those spiritual insights. Okay, I got to take, I've seen this about myself. I want to move forward in this new direction. I'm ready to get out of this job, or I want to move forward in this way, or I want to sign up to do this one thing, or whatever it may be. this last week, it's go time. Let's go. Like, let's do this. Let's make this happen. And don't be afraid, because hopefully if you're following the energy of the sun, the lightness, and you've been getting the intuitive information and you've been following, and really, the week before this being accelerated motion, things are already going in a certain direction. So it should hopefully be easy for you to make that decision and take that action and have that decisiveness. One of the things that they're telling me about this month is about getting to know yourself on a deeper level, knowing thyself as a powerful spiritual being that has the ability to really co-create the life that they want. And if that's the case, then what do you need to act upon if you're moving towards your North Star? And this is a month of more shedding. They're very real about that. Maybe some of your intuitive insights you have, I need to let this go. I need to stop doing this because this limits me from becoming the best version of myself. So whatever it may be, listen, don't hesitate. Don't sit on something, because this is a week that they want, Spirit saying it's time to take action. So it feels like a really good month. I know on the collective level, there's going to be, of course, lots of things happening, but you get to decide how much you want to be in interaction with all of that. And for some of you, maybe that's fun for you. For me personally, I don't like to watch the news or do any of that nonsense. I don't. And so I like to stay in my own energetics. And when I need to, I go pop out and I go see what's going on, because I know there's plenty going on, but it's overwhelming for me to know everything that's happening. So really trust your intuition this month. Really, really, really have a time and practice to go within and listen, because it's guiding you towards something new. It just feels like we're all in this ascension process of becoming better, more elevated versions of ourselves. And it's really exciting. It's really exciting times. So I like the feel for the month. It feels lighter than May. It really does. And May was like the world card. So of course we're going to learn some big lessons and big things that are happening. And so this card, the sun card, just feels so much lighter. Last but not least, if you are someone who is ready to become your thriving future self now, Majestic Mastermind is open. I have an incredible, incredible group of women that are in it. We officially start next week, and I'm going to be inviting more people in throughout the rest of the year. It's a rolling mastermind. So there's no start end date. You just when you start, you're in with me for a year, and you get coached twice a month in a group of really high vibe women on how to shift your identity to becoming that woman that has either the money, the love, the success that you really want, because we are playing a 3D game. And the more that you can work with your consciousness and know how to use your energy to create what you want, it becomes really beautiful and fun. And it's really based on being able to receive your highest timeline through the energy of joy and pleasure. So anyways, reach out to me for that. And I hope that you have a fantastic June. I'm excited to see how it goes. Take care.